Hi, everybody. Here's the next entry in the Transformers franchise, and this is the fifth live-action Transformers movie, Transformers: The Last Knight. The Last Knight was released in 2017, once again by Paramount Pictures, and it is also the final film in the franchise directed by Michael Bay. Um, Now, describing the plot of The Last Knight, the problem, one of the problems I have with this movie is that the plot is so darn convoluting. I'm going to try to explain it as best as I possibly can. So, for anybody that hasn't seen the film, or for those of you that actually have seen the movie, I'll try to describe it as best as I can, because although in the back of the case here it says Optimus Prime launches a mission to save Cybertron by destroying Earth. Now, Bumblebee and Cade Yeager must lead the Autobots against their former ally in the ultimate battle to save mankind from annihilation. That's just one of maybe 20 plot points in this movie, so I'm going to try to explain as best as I can. The events of this film take place roughly 5 years after the events of Age of Extinction. Cade Yeager, Mark Wahlberg's character, is now a fugitive on the run from basically the government because of his decision to side with the Autobots, since the Autobots are now still essentially being hunted down one at a time. Now that Cemetery Wind has been destroyed and at the end of Age of Extinction, a new group has formed, the TRF. Basically, again, another government force made to hunt down and destroy all the Transformers. After his defeat in Age of Extinction, Megatron, now with a new body, has retreated, and he's planning to basically finish the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons once and for all. But Optimus Prime at the end has also decided to take the seed to basically not to Cybertron to basically deal with the last surviving creators of the Transformers. The last surviving one being Quintessa, who ultimately takes control of Optimus Prime and sends him back to Earth to retrieve a staff that can be used to essentially merge Cybertron and Earth together. And this staff was actually entrusted to humans centuries ago when the Transformers actually arrived on Earth, and they got to deal with King Arthur and his wizard Merlin. Yes, bringing the Arthurian legend into a Transformers movie. Like I said, that's how darn convoluting the plot is of this movie. Cade Yeager gets caught up in the crossfire when he's searching the ruins of Chicago from Dark of the Moon, and he finds a Transformer that gives him a Arthurian crescent that basically makes him worthy to be a final knight. And of course, an Englishman played by Anthony Hopkins has decided to help track down Cade Yeager, and another woman played Vivian, played in the film by actress Laura Haddock, who I think her name's on the back here. I could be wrong. Oh, her name's not on the back here. For anybody that doesn't know who Laura Haddock is, she's probably best known as Peter Quill's mother from the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Vivian ultimately has a secret of her own that ultimately later gets revealed. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, for those of you that haven't seen the movie. But essentially, that is a convoluted plot in a nutshell. Like I said, tried to explain it as best as I can. Transformers: The Last Knight was released in 2017, as I said, and unfortunately, this was the first Transformers film to be considered a box office failure, as the movie was made on a huge budget of around $200 to $230 million, and worldwide, it only grossed about a little over $600 million. That's a pretty steep drop from the billion take-ins that Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction pulled in. And also, The Last Knight was just met with horrific reviews. It currently has a 15 or 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, making it effectively the lowest rated Transformers movie as of yet. Lower than Age of Extinction, and even lower than Revenge of the Fallen. So it's by far the worst reviewed Transformers movie. But again, I don't think it's as bad of a film as everybody says it is. Yeah, there are some plot points in the movie there are some parts of the film that I think, could have been shortened. And yeah, once again, like all the other Transformers movies, it's lengthy as hell. 155, 100. Well, it says on the back here 154 minutes, but 155 on the actual Blu-ray disc. So still, once again, that's a long. Well, it's actually slightly shorter than Age of Extinction, but still, it's as lengthy as Dark of the Moon is. But it does have a lot put into the movie, so there is a lot going on in this film. So, Transformers: The Last Night. Although, yeah, the title is kind of misleading, though, but either way, but nonetheless, it's still an entertaining film. The action scenes and the visuals are just mind-blowing. It's a big film on an epic scale. Definitely need to see it on the biggest screen possible. It's one of those movies, but again, the story is just the story and the plot and some of the acting are really some of the not so greatest. I mean, I would say out of all the actors in the film, Anthony Hopkins is definitely one of the best. And he was fantastic in this movie, as far as I can say. Mark Wahlberg, once again, does do a pretty decent leading man as Cade Yeager, once again. So overall, like I said, there are some things I didn't care for the movie, but for most part, I'm kind of willing to overlook all that because there is, like I said, there's a lot to take in this movie. But is it the best Transformers film? No. But is it the worst movie of 2017? No, not even close. Once again, I still think it's better than what most people made it out to be. But I leave you to be the judge of all that. Love it or hate it, I'd leave it up to the viewer to decide whether or not they, even though I'm formulating my own opinion, even though I could say, go see this movie, go check this movie out. But I'm going to probably pull a devil's advocate move and say, whether you love it or hate it, I'm just basically formulating a simple, I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was entertaining. It was action-packed. The visuals were amazing. And those were some of the best things. Like I said, that's really the best stuff about Michael Bay. That's really what he's best at. He's best at doing great action scenes and phenomenal visuals, but his two weak points are basically story and acting. And I feel Laura Haddock, just like Megan Fox, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, and Nicola Peltz before her, she's just there really for eye candy. In fact, one critic even called her a British Megan Fox, because that's essentially what she is. More or less. That's what they made her out to be. But, again, the voice acting, of course, you gotta love Peter Cullen and his just constantly returning to play the voice Optimus Prime. You gotta really love him in that. Again, no Oscar nominations, but it did get nominated for a bunch of Razzies. It did pick up 10 nominations, and it was nominated for Worst Picture, obviously. It did not receive a single It didn't receive a single win, by the way, making it essentially the most Razzie-nominated movie of all time without one win, which is pretty impressive, to say the least. So I guess there was a film that came out that year that The Last Night... I'm trying to remember what did beat out The Last Night for Worst Picture. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, let's talk about the Blu-ray. Transformers: The Last Night actually got a pretty decent release here. So, and yeah, you probably no doubt noticed the Target sticker on the front of it the whole time I was doing the review. I will talk about that momentarily. But here, inside again are 3 discs. Disc 1 is the movie by itself. Disc 2 is the bonus features, and underneath there is the DVD copy, which is pretty cool. So basically, Transformers: The Last Night essentially gets the same disc layout as Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction. Movie on one disc, bonus features on the second. As for the video quality, well, Transformers: The Last Night, I'm not going to lie, it's definitely a gorgeous-looking movie. Once again, the video quality is amazing, but the one big gripe I have with the movie is the aspect ratio is all over the place with this movie. There must be 3 or 4 different aspect ratios throughout the entire film. There's 235 by 1, there's 190 by 1, there's 185 by 1. I feel like it's almost enough to give a viewer a seizure, because it constantly changes between aspect ratios, either between edits or just long takes, literally. The whole movie is done that way. I have honestly no idea why they shot the entire movie like that. It is so weird. Not that I have any problems with it. I mean, I don't. I mean, sometimes shooting them, I mean, like, it's just kind of weird. It's like, it's as if the editor was, just a kid fresh out of film school, fresh out of film editing school, who just, took the footage and spliced it all together. But, I mean, other than that, though, the video quality in the disc is amazing. I mean, once again, detail galore, and yeah, during any of the action scenes, it really just gets out of control real quick. Oh yeah, and the other thing I forgot to mention in the movie, there's this little girl that gets involved in it too. I almost completely forgot about her, Isabella, who meets up with Kate Yeager when he's pretty much excavating the ruins of Chicago. So I almost completely forgot about her. Sorry. So yeah, that's the video quality. I would say out of 5 stars. Yeah, it definitely gets a 5 out of 5 because again, it's a beautiful looking movie. But like I said, be ready for the constant aspect ratio changes. It's definitely weird. As for the audio, once again, it's presented in the Dolby Atmos, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's pulse pounding to say the least. And again, there's a plethora of audio tracks to choose from. Dolby Atmos, 5.1 Dolby Digital, 2.0 English Dolby Digital, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and of course English audio description track as well as subtitle options. So again, the audio out of 5 stars, I'd say 5 out of 5. But if it were up to me, I'd give it a 10 out of 5 because that's again how loud the audio is. As for the bonus features, well, again, the movie disc has absolutely nothing, but the second disc is dedicated to the bonus features. The original Blu-ray release only has about roughly an hour and a half of footage, but because I have the Target exclusive version, it comes with the bonus disc has an additional 50 minutes of additional material added on. So, trying to figure out what's included. I think the new material is, it might be mentioned on the back here, on the slipcase it's mentioned. Yeah, it's funny how on the slipcase it's actually mentioned, but not in the actual disc here. It's so weird. So, Transformer Combiner Wars, the complete animated series. That might be the additional stuff that's been added, the additional 50 minutes of extra content. So there's roughly almost 2.5 hours worth of bonus features if you bought the Target exclusive version. So again, it's basically an hour and a half of behind the scenes, like doing the visuals, the production design, the locations, the action scenes, pretty much casting the actors. Yeah, literally it goes into all that. So again, it's not a bad selection of material, but I don't think it's as feature packed as any of the previous movies. As I gave a 5-star rating to the first 3 movies and a 4.5 for Age of Extinction's bonus features. This one, I would say for the bonus material, I'd say maybe 3.5 out of 5 for the extras. Probably a 3.5. So, yeah, not as much material on this one as on the previous ones. Of course, the DVD copy has no extras either. So again, it's bare bones. But that's pretty much it for The Last Night. Once again, just like all the previous movies, it's a very solid release of a film on Blu-ray. No doubt the 4K version, I'm sure, is far superior, but like I said, I'm only interested in Blu-ray, not 4K. And Blu-ray is pretty much my limit. I have no intention of going to 4K. I don't. But, whether you love or hate the movie, Transformers The Last Night does have a solid Blu-ray. But I still would recommend checking it out, if you're a fan of the franchise. But I would not. I know it's not going to rake in a lot of people, but being it's the final movie that Michael Bay directed, I feel like maybe he just wanted it made as quick as possible, so he could probably wipe his hands clean of the Transformers franchise. Even though he did go on to produce Bumblebee, though, which is the next one I'll be reviewing if I have time here. So overall, is Transformers Last Night, I'd say give it a watch. You might enjoy it, you may not. I'm kind of a mixed opinion on the movie, so overall, it's an entertaining thrill ride, to say the least. So, this concludes the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will continue to do more videos in the days to come. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel if you like this content. So until then, take care and be safe.